सौन्दर्यलहरी कर्त्रे सर्वमङ्गलदायिने शङ्कराचार्यवर्याय यतिराजाय ते नमः. सौन्दर्यलहरी श्लोका 51. शिवे शृङ्गारार्द्रा तदितरजने कुत्सनपरा सरोषा गङ्गायां गिरिशचरिते विस्मयवती हराहिभ्यो भीता सरसिरुह सौभाग्यजयिनी सखीषु स्मेरा ते मयि जननि दृष्टिः सकरुणा. In this shloka, Pada Vibhaga is to be done only in the first line, third word. Taditara jane can be split as tat itara jane. All the other words are padam by themselves or samasta padam. So we will see the anvaya. He janani te drishtihi shive shringarardra tad itara jane kutsana para गंगायां सरोषा गिरिशचरिते विस्मयवती हराहिभ्यः भीता सरसिरुह सौभाग्य जयिनी सखीषु स्मेरा मयि सकरुणा. In this shloka, Sri Shankara Bhagavatpada describes the Bhagavati's drishti, which expresses all the 9 sentiments, that is the Navarasas. He Janani, O Devi, O Mother, Te Drishtihi, your glances, Shive, when it is towards Sadashiva, it is Shringarardra. That means it is tender with the sentiment of love. For Shringara Rasa to be manifest, Anuraga, a feel of love, is inherent within the person. When it comes out, it is called Shringara Rasa. This word Ardra also has the meaning of melting. So Shringara is supposed to be the king of rasas, the sentiment of love. Then Tat Itara Jane, Tat, that drishti of yours, Itara, when it is cast on other people, Itara Jane, towards others, it is filled with Kutsana Para, dislike or aversion. Now this brings out the rasa called Bibhatsa. Then Gangayam, when it is towards Ganga, Sarosha, it is filled with anger, which is expression of Raudra Rasa. Then Girisha Charite, when your drishti is towards the activities carried out by Shiva, then you are filled with astonishment, Vismayavati. So Vismaya or Ascharya Rasa is brought out. So activities of Shiva means when you see Shiva doing Tripurasura Samhara, Andhakara Sura Samhara, etc., you are filled with Ascharya. Then Harahibhyaha, Harasya Ahibhyaha. Harasya Ahibhyaha. Ahibhyaha means Sarpebhyaha. When you look at the serpents being adorned by Parameshwara on his body, then Bhita, your look is filled with fear. Bhayanaka Rasa is expressed. Then Sarasiruha Saubhagya Jayini, those lotus eyes of yours which defeated the beauty of the ordinary lotus. It expresses the look of victory. Here the sentiment expressed is Veera Rasa, which is born of a feeling of Utsaha, excitement, because your beauty is mocking the beauty of the so-called beautiful lotus. So here you express Veera Rasa. Sakhishu, towards your friends, Smera, you express a feel of humor and a smile. which is referred to as Hasya Rasa. Then Mai, towards me, the devotee, Sakaruna, your drishti is filled with compassion, understanding that this is my devotee. So your look is filled with blessing, Anugraha Purvaka Drishti, which is full of compassion, known as Karuna Rasa, or you can say full of grace. In poetry or kavya, 9 sentiments, Nava Rasas are described. Shrangara, Veera, Karuna, Adbhuta, Hasya, Bhayanaka, Bibhatsa, Raudra and Shanta. Now all these sentiments are expressed by Devi through her eyes itself. Or you can say that she manifests the sentiments according to the appropriate situation. We have seen in this shloka, Acharya has mentioned by words 8 rasas. Now the 9th rasa, Shanta rasa, has not been mentioned. So the question arises, why so? In this, Shanta rasa is naturally present. Bhagavati's glance or drishti is naturally peaceful and composed. Because she is always composed and expresses peace, expecting to mention this Shanta rasa separately as a sentiment is actually not necessary. It is not very becoming of the author. One has to understand this. And the Sthayi Bhava or the inherent feel to express Shanta rasa is Shama, that is forgiveness. The Lakshana or definition of Shama is Na yatra dukkham, na sukham, na chinta, na dvesha ragav, na cha kachid ichha, rasassa shantah kathito munindraihi, sarveshu bhaveshu shamah pradhanaha. Na yatra dukkham, na sukham. When there is no sorrow, no happiness, na chinta, no worry, na dvesha ragav, no hatred or passion or any desire, na cha kachid ichha, then it is said to be rasasaha, saha rasaha shantaha, shanta rasa, and this is said by kathitaha munindraihi, the great seers. Sarveshu bhaveshu, in all moods and sentiments, shamah pradhanaha. Shama is composed disposition, state of mind, and this is outstanding. Now this is innate to Bhagavati, so it does not need special mention as a sentiment. Thus we see from this shloka that Bhagavati expresses all the 9 sentiments in her glances. Hari Om. Saundarya Lahari Shloka 52. Gate karnabhyarnam garuta iva pakshmani dadhati puram bhetus chitta prashamarasa vidravana phale ime netre gotradharapati kulottam sakalike tava karna krishta smarana sharavilasam kalayataha. In this shloka, there is pada vibhaga in 2 places. Second line, the second word, bhetuhu chitta prashamarasa vidravana phale. Last line, first word, tava karna krishta. There, split it as tava akarna krishta smarashara vilasam. Now we will see the Anvaya. He gotradharapati kulottam sa kalike tava ime netre karnabhyarnam gate pakshmani garuta iva dadhati puram bhetuhu chitta prashamarasa vidravana phale akarnakrishta smarashara vilasam kalayataha. In this shloka, Bhagavad Pada is giving a very descriptive sambodhana addressed to Devi. He addresses her as He Gotradharapati Kulottam sa Kalike. So we will see the meaning. Gotra means Bhumihi or earth, and Dharaha is Dharati, holding up. Gotrayaha dharaha. Gotra dharaha means one who is holding up the earth. Then patihi, lord of. It is said that holding the earth in a certain stable position is done by the mountains. So Gotradharaha means mountains. Gotradharapatihi means lord of the mountains, which means Himavan. Tasya kulottamsa kalika means uttamsa is kiritaha, kula is family, kalika is the bud or not yet blossomed flower. So it means young. So the whole compound word, when you put it together, it gives the meaning of the young crest jewel of the family, O Parvati. O Parvati, you who are the young crest jewel of the family of the Lord of the mountains. Tava, your, ime netre, these two eyes, karnabhyarnam gate. Karna are the ears, abhyarnam means samipam, near. Your eyes are long and they seem to be extending up to the ears. Pakshmani, those eyelashes, Garuta Iva, like the feathers of the arrows, Dadhati, as though, and that is worn by you. Puram, the three cities, Bhetuhu, destroyer of. So it gives the meaning of Tripura Nashakaha, which means Shivaha, destroyer of the three cities. Chitta Prashama Rasa Vidravana Phale. Chitta is Antahkarane, mind. Prashama Rasa, Shanta Rasa or Vairagyam, sentiment of composure. Then Vidravana means Vinashanam, driving away. Phale means that being the purpose. The prayojana is to destroy. One who has the objective of destroying the mental composure. In other words, bringing about the manifestation of Shringara Rasa. Those eyes are Akarna Akrishta Smarashara Vilasam. Akarna is up to the ear, the eyes are extending. Karna Paryantam, Akrishta Yoho, the two eyes are extended. And then Smara Sharayoho, it appears like the two arrows which are being held by Manmatha. Vilasam means Saubhagyam or fortune. The fortune of the arrows of Manmatha, which are stretched up to the ears and held ready to be shot. Kalayataha means Kurutaha, causing that. The dispelling of Lord Shiva's Shanta Rasa means causing him to be disturbed from his tapas and directing his attention towards Devi with the feeling of love and fondness. In other words, dispelling Vairagya and bringing about Shringara Rasa. In this verse, the beauty and power of Devi's side glances is described by Sri Bhagavad Pada. Now here, when he says, your two eyes, Tava ime netre, it does not mean that Devi is physically present. Bhagavad Pada in his Antahkarana, that is internally in the mind, he visualizes Devi and he is looking at her and he is describing her eyes. This is the way in which we have to understand. Now Manmatha is said to have 5 arrows, and with that the glance from a woman is described as a 6th arrow by the poets in Alankara Shastra, in literature. Then why not say that Manmatha has 6 arrows? That single arrow of the side glance from a lady is said to be equal to the 5 arrows of Manmatha. So generally it is said that Manmatha's arrows are only 5. Now the arrows sent must travel in the appropriate direction. So the hunters attach some feathers to the arrows. Also, with the intention that the arrow must destroy the enemy, an iron piece will be fixed to the tip of the arrow. Here in this context, Devi's eyelashes are the feathers on the arrow, and her side glance, Kataksha Vyapara, is the iron tip of the arrow. Then the word phala in the shloka has two meanings. Tip of the arrow and prayojana, two meanings. Now when we take the meaning to be the side glance is the tip of the arrow, then it becomes the tool or sadhana to destroy the composed mind of Lord Shiva. That is Shantarasasya Vinasha Sadhanaha. Then taking the meaning of prayojana or purpose, disturbing his composed mind is to bring about the feeling of fondness towards herself, and this is the prayojana. We know that after Daksha Yajna, Lord Shiva, who was immersed in tapas, which is an expression of Shantarasa, that was destroyed by Manmatha with his arrows. The purpose was, may Lord Shiva express Anuraga for Parvati. Also, it is as though Parvati's side glance, Kataksha Drishti, went up to the ears to attract Lord Shiva, causing him to give up his Shantarasa, which was described as his tapas. That is, he gave up his tapas and developed the feeling of Anuraga towards Parvati. Then there is an expression that Manmatha's Bana Prayoga has been done. Whenever Manmatha uses his arrows, it touches and moves the mind. That is why here Devi's arrow-like piercing side glance, Kataksha Drishti, is said to move Lord Shiva's mind. That is, Devi's Kataksha is the cause for the spandana or slight movement of Parabrahman for the purpose of creation. Harihi Om. Saundarya Lahari, Shloka 53. Vibhaktatraivarnyam vyatikarita leelanjanataya vibhati tvannetratritayamidam ishanadayite punasrashtum devan druhinaharirudraan uparatan rajasattvam bibhrattama iti gunanam trayamiva. In this shloka, look at the second word in the second line. Tvat netra tritayam idam ishana daite. Then let's look at the fourth word in the third line. Druhina hari rudran uparatan. But actually it is a samasta padam. Druhina hari rudran uparatan. Then third word in the last line. Bibhrat tama. Last word in the fourth line. Trayam iva. Now we will go through the Anvaya. He Ishana Daite idam tvat netra tritayam vyatikarita leelanjanataya vibhakta traivarnyam uparatan druhina hari rudran devan punah srashtum rajaha sattvam tamaha iti gunanam trayamiva bibhrat vibhati. In this, Bhagavad Pada addresses Devi as He Ishana Daite. Ishanaha means Mahadevaha. Daita is the beloved. So, O beloved of Mahadeva or Parameshwara, that Devi, idam, this, your, tvat netra tritayam, your three eyes, vyatikarita leelanjanataya, spread everywhere. Vyatikaritam means spread or connected. Why? Because leelartham, just effortlessly to enjoy. Vilasartham. Dhritam anjanam. Itex has been smeared in your eyes. And then vibhakta traivarnyam. The three eyes show three different colors. Uparatan, those who have been destroyed at the time of Mahapralaya or annihilation of the universe. Who are they? Druhina, Hari, Rudrana. Druhina means Brahma, Hari is Vishnu, and Rudra. Then Devana, the divine beings, Punaha Srashtum, to create again. Rajas Sattvam Tama iti, in the form of Rajoguna, Sattwaguna, Tamoguna, Gunanam Trayamiva, as though these three gunas of Prakriti, Bibhrat, took the form Vibhati, it appears so. In the earlier verse, we saw that with Devi's Kataksha, her side glances, Paramashiva gave up Shantarasa to help Shakti in Srishti Sthiti Laya Karya. In that Karya, Paramashiva was as though physically visible to Shakti. A vision of Shiva happens only if he so desires. So, for all living beings, after they have lived a life of dharma, artha, kama, attaining moksha can happen only if Devi desires to shower her grace. That is, blessing one with a vision of Ishvara is Lord Shiva's dharma, and blessing one with Kaivalyam or moksha is said to be Shakti's dharma or Devi's dharma. The prayojana or purpose of this is the sambandha or connection between Shiva and Shakti. In other words, darshanam or vision is Purusha dharma, Kaivalyam or moksha is Prakriti dharma, which means Prakriti is Sahaja Avastha, that which exists always. In this shloka, Bhagavati's Para Prakriti Rupa is being described. Bhagavati's three eyes are said to simultaneously perform their activities. That is, the three gunas which are needed for Jagat Srishti Karya is eternally present in Bhagavati's Sharira. Her three eyes are said to have obtained the form of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Parameshwari is said to have smeared three different types of Anjana or Itex, what we call as Surma also. Now this is said to shine as three colors, as though three colors. Anjana can mean dark or any color smeared on the eyes. Then the verse mentions Traivarnyam. So the meaning of different colors smeared in the eye is appropriate. Now the three eyes shining in three different colors represents Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra, who are also destroyed in Mahapralayakala. Then after that, Bhagavati has to again create. So when she opens her three eyes, Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra are said to come into existence again. Now, how do the three eyes imply this? The Raktavarna or reddish color implies Rajoguna. The Adhidevata for Rajoguna is Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma. So he performs the activity of creation again. Then the whitish color in one eye of Devi, that represents Sattva-guna. Adhishtana Devata for Sattva-guna is Vishnu. So he performs the activity of Sthiti Karya. Then the black color in one eye implies Tamo-guna. And the Adhishtana Devata for Tamo-guna is Rudra, who now carries out the activity of Samhara Karya. Like this, the three gunas are said to exist in Bhagavati, and all the three activities are represented. Now, any object does not lose its inherent property. So, now what it is said that after Samhara, that is after the universal annihilation, even Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra are said to be destroyed. At that time, Bhagavati in the form of three gunas remains in unmanifest form. They are not destroyed. That is why they are said to be Prakriti. or the subtle form of nature of eternal Bhagavati. So then that's the reason Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra are once again brought into manifestation for the Srishti, Sthiti and Laya Karya. So this three gunas being the cause for Srishti Karya again is called Moola Prakriti or Para Prakriti. Harihi Om. Saundarya Lahari, Shloka 54. पवित्रीकर्तुं नः पशुपतिपराधीनहृदये दयामित्रैर्नेत्रैररुणधवलश्यामरुचिभिः नदः शोणो गङ्गातपनतनयेति ध्रुवममुं त्रयाणां तीर्थानाम् उपनयसि सम्भेदमनघम्. पदविभागः. पवित्रीकर्तुं नः पशुपतिपराधीनहृदये दयामित्रैः नेत्रैः अरुणधवलश्यामरुचिभिः नदः शोणः गङ्गा तपनतनया इति ध्रुवम् अमुं त्रयाणां तीर्थानाम् उपनयसि सम्भेदम् अनघम्. अन्वय. हे पशुपति पराधीन हृदये दयामित्रैः अरुणधवलश्यामरुचिभिः नेत्रैः शोणः नदः गङ्गा तपनतनया इति त्रयाणां तीर्थानाम् अमुम् अनघं सम्भेदं नः पवित्रीकर्तुम् उपनयसि ध्रुवम्. हे पशुपति पराधीन हृदये, O Devi, you who have surrendered your mind to Pashupati, Lord of all the Jivas, Daya Mitraihi, you who are always filled with overflowing affection, that is, you who have made compassion as your friend. Aruna Dhavala Shyama Ruchibihi, Aruna red, Dhavala white, Shyama black or dark, shining with the lustre of these shades, netraihi, such shining eyes, shonaha nadaha, the river by name Shonaha, Ganga, river Ganga, Tapanatanaya, river Yamuna, iti, in this way, Trayanam, the three, Tirthanam, sacred rivers, Amum, this, Anagham, sinless, pure, Sambhedam, confluence, Naha, all of us, Pavitri Kartum, causing us to be purified, Upanayasi, you bless us with such a look. Dhruvam, this is for sure. In this shloka, Bhagavad Pada describes the same glances with three different colors which were described in the previous shloka. Here they are spoken of as performing another significant kriya, action. Devi has offered or surrendered her mind to Pashupati. Her eyes are said to have made friends with abundance, compassion. The color of those three eyes, the eye on the forehead or lalata is said to have the lustre of red, and the right eye said to have the lustre of white, the left eye has the lustre of black. Possessing this kind of eyes, when her glance is directed on us, that is, Shona Nadi being red, denotes a glance from the eye on the forehead of Devi. Ganga Nadi being pure white, it denotes a glance from the right eye of Devi. Yamuna Nadi being black denotes Devi's glance from the left eye. It is as though one has taken a dip in the confluence of these three sacred rivers. In other words, even as a bath in the confluence of these three rivers has a purifying effect, the compassion-filled glance from Devi's such powerful eyes possessing the three colors is said to also sanctify those who receive such a glance. This is the significance of Devi's drishti. We can also understand that Devi, for whom her devotees are the most favorite, she is always engaged in uplifting them. Another understanding is, born of Devi's glance is what is called Shambhavi Vedha Diksha, which has the power to destroy all the duritas or sins in an instant, thus making the yogi or sadhaka very pure, Nitya Shuddha, and subsequently a complete person, making the sadhaka a Paripurna Vyakti. In other words, making us pure or sanctifying is Pavitri Kartum, and that is Devi's intention. Now, this is the meaning denoted by the Sambodhana Padam or the address to Devi as Pashupati Paradhina Hridaye. Now, Pashu means those who cannot think, and hence they are like animals. In other words, Ajnanis. Devi's heart is constantly engaged in protecting the Ajnanis. That is why her glances are described as having a purifying effect on the devotees. Another meaning for the word Pavitri Kartum is we who are not Pavitra, that is not pure presently, we are now filled with impurities. So, she, Bhagavati, since she is determined at making us pure, the word Pavitra, when we analyze, Pavi means Vajrayudha, Tra means Indra. So, one who protects Vajrayudha is Indra. So, the word Pavitra gets the meaning of Indra. Then, Pavitri Kartum will mean bringing up the standard of the sadhaka similar to that of Indra. Indra Samana Padavi, and making us equal to Indra. We can explain like this. Bhagavati, she showers her grace on us with her glance through the three eyes as though it is the purifying waters of the confluence of the three sacred rivers, and she lifts us to the stature of Indra himself. Confluence of Ganga and Yamuna is seen at Prayaga. In this context, if we equate that to the right eye and the left eye, then between those two eyes, the central portion, that is between the eyebrows, will be Kashi. And just above that is the third eye, which is Shona Nadi. That is the Jnana Netra, eye of knowledge, into which all the three rivers merge. Now, Shona Nadi joins Ganga at some distance further from Kashi. Now, visualize upper portion of the nose, center of the eyebrows, forehead just above that, all these three in one line. At that point, there is a method recommended to do meditation. A sadhaka who stays there in dharana, meditating in that place on Devi, is said to gain significant results. That is, he becomes pure and is blessed with an aura of protection. Harihi Om. Saundarya Lahari, Shloka 55. Nimeshonmeshabhyam pralayamudayam yati jagati tavetyahuh santo dharanidhara rajanya tanaye त्वदुन्मेषाज्जातं जगदिदमशेषं प्रलयतः परित्रातुं शङ्के परिहृतनिमेषास्तव दृशः. पदविभागः निमेष उन्मेष. निमेषोन्मेषाभ्याम is one padam. Pralayam udayam. Yati jagati tava iti ahuhu santaha dharanidhara rajanya tanaye. Tvat unmeshat jatam jagat idam asesham pralayatah paritratum shanke परिहृत निमेषाः तव दृशः. अन्वय. हे धरणिधर राजन्य तनये तव निमेषोन्मेषाभ्यां जगति प्रलयम् उदयं याति इति सन्तः आहुः त्वत् उन्मेषात् जातम् अशेषम् इदं जगत् प्रलयतः परित्रातुं तव दृशः परिहृतनिमेषाः शङ्के. In this verse, Sri Shankara gives a reason for why Devi's eyes are always open. She is addressed as He Dharanidhara Rajanya Tanaye. Dharani means Bhumi or earth. Dhara is one who is holding it. It was mentioned earlier that mountains aid in holding the earth stable. So, Dharanidhara means mountains. Rajanya is king of the mountain. So, the whole word will mean Himavan. And then Tanaya is daughter. So, Dharanidhara Rajanya Tanaye means, O daughter of Himavan, He Parvati, Tava, your Nimeshonmeshabhyam. Nimesha is closing of the eyelids. Unmesha is opening of the eyelids. By the act of closing and opening of the eyelids, Jagati, this universe, Pralayam, destruction of, that is, by the closing of your eyelids, destruction happens, and then Udayam means Srishti or creation happens by the opening of your eyes. Yati, this happens. Iti, like this, Santaha, the learned seers or visionaries, Ahuhu, say so. Ataha, therefore, Tvat Unmeshat, because of the opening of your eyes, Jatam, this universe, which is created again, Asesham, the whole universe, Idam, this Jagat, Pralayataha, from being destroyed, Paritratum, in order to protect, Tava, your Drishaha eyes, seem to have Parihrita Nimeshaha, given up the act of closing the eyelids. Iti, like this, Shanke, I think so. Devi, always keeping her eyes open is natural. Generally, Devatas are said to possess certain significant abilities. They experience only 3 states of living: Balyavastha, childhood, then Kaumaravastha, teenage, and then youth, Tarunya Avastha. There is no Vriddha Avastha for Devatas. Then they have a very long lifespan, Dirgha Ayuhu. They can move in the sky, that is, they can move in space. Then they will get whatever they wish for. Some of the Devatas are said to have 3 eyes, 3 Nayanatva. Then some are said to have 4 arms, Chaturbhujatva. But common to all Devatas is they are all called Animeshaha. The closing of eyelids does not occur in them. They all remain in the state of opened eyes. Bhagavati is also similarly having her eyes open eternally, which is described to us beautifully through this verse by Bhagavad Pada. This is not mentioned as a form of praise to her. It is her nature, which is mentioned in the Agama also as it is Bhagavati's eyes which perform the acts of Srishti Sthiti Laya of Jagat. So, this is the same subject matter described beautifully by Sri Shankara. Lalita Sahasranama also mentions this same subject matter. Unmesha Nimishotpanna Vipanna Bhuvanavali. Unmesha is opening of the eyes. Nimisha or Nimesha both mean the same. So, closing of the eyes is Nimesha or Nimisha. Because of these 2 acts, Utpanna, creation, and Vipanna, destruction, happens to Bhuvanavali, the 14 worlds. Such is the greatness of Bhagavati. Then, seers like Vyasa, etc., they have described the same subject matter little differently. The background of their description is that of Parabrahman who manifests in 4 forms as the cause. The verse goes like this. Yada Shri Narayanaha Chaturmukha Roopadhari Nidrati Tada Trailokyam Nashyati, which means when Narayana, who adorns 4 faces, he goes to sleep, that time the 3 worlds will be destroyed. Yada cha jagarti tada jagat udeti. When he wakes up, the universe is said to come to existence. Here, when we say Bhagavati and Vishnu, the words are different. Also, one is in Strilinga, feminine gender, and the other is in Pullinga. Yet, the subject is like this. Ekaiva murtihi parameshwarasya भिन्ना चतुर्धा व्यवहार काले भोगे भवानी पुरुषे च विष्णुः क्रोधे च काली समरे च दुर्गा. One and the same Parabrahman appears as though in 4 different forms depending upon the activity. As a female form, she is Bhavani. In the male form, Parabrahman is called Vishnu. When angry, she is called Kali. In the time of war, she is called Durga. Thus, the cause for everything that happens in the Jagat is Parabrahma Shakti, which in the very first verse itself was mentioned as Ichha Shakti, that manifests as Spandana Shakti, a movement in Parabrahman. Harihi Om.